We've seen support for Donald Trump climb following his indictment, with polls showing he has now significant advantage over his major competition, Ron DeSantis. And the former president certainly got a rousing response at the UFC. Let's have a look. Kosha, before I get your response to the poll numbers, I have to show this young man's reaction to Trump walking past.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's just a lovely moment. Now, if they thought this politically motivated sham charges were going to destroy his presidential hopes, well, they got that very wrong, Kosha, because his poll numbers have gone up. His fundraising has jumped considerably. This is not the way to stop Donald Trump.
True. His poll numbers have been up. In the 4 days since the indictment was brought, his campaign released a statement that they raised $8 million, and 25% of that were from first-time donors. So that's very interesting. It's the people who maybe, don't love Trump and were fence sitters. I've always said there's three segments of people in Trump's orbit. The lovers, they will love him no matter what. The fence sitters, I think, who are galvanizing around him just because of the political nature of this, and the early adopters who are early into Trump and early out. They do like DeSantis more. Those are the ones, I think, to watch. But at least politically, I think this is actually a gift for him.
And on DeSantis, Trump posted this regarding his main challenger. He said, "Ron DeSantis is a young man who is not doing well against me in the polls. To put it mildly, I believe that if he decides to run for president, which will only hurt and somewhat divide the Republican Party, he will lose the cherished and massive MAGA vote and never be able to successfully run for office again. If he remains governor, which is what Florida voters assumed, it would be a whole different story. Just saying. But who knows?" That's a far more conciliatory post from Donald Trump than we have seen, where he's mocked DeSantis, where he's called him names. That is a far more measured and I think sensible way to tackle that threat, because he would know that a great many of his supporter base are also very much supportive of Ron DeSantis.
Absolutely. And today, that's what we got, conciliatory with him. You never know what's today and what's tomorrow. But he's always been somebody who does A/B testing, and he likes to sort of throw different tactics out, look at real-time feedback of how it's playing, how it's resonating, and then going with that. So he probably has seen feedback, which, as you say, a lot of his base doesn't like that. They love for him to go after the Republican Party, go after the FBI, go after the justice system, go after Biden, not after DeSantis. But he's in this tricky dynamic right now, and so he's, I think, trying different approaches.
They would love him to go after many Republicans, many of the ones they see as rhinos, but not DeSantis. DeSantis has been an absolute warrior, especially throughout COVID, where he kept Florida open, where he has fought back against all the culture
100%.
wars. To attack him in those terms, I think...
it's a mistake.
It's a mistake. There are better ways for him to overcome that threat. And this notion of DeSantis has a job to do in Florida, that's what he was elected for. He's a young man. This is not the time. So that, I think, is a far more smart strategy for Trump to employ.